Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily Parr, and here we talk about all things self-development. So if that is something that you are interested in, make sure to subscribe and click that like button for more videos like this one. These days, it feels like we're being sold a new flaw and insecurity every second. The beauty industry is moving at a super fast pace, and now with the innovation with AI, it can be very challenging to feel super beautiful in your natural skin. Today, I want to empower you to feel beautiful in your body, in your natural skin, and expose some of those fears that are being sold to us and some of those flaws that you don't actually need to be worried about, and share some hacks on how you can feel your absolute best. So I'm going to start off with fear number one, talking about cellulite and the issues of stretch marks and marks on the body. So they say that 98% of women have cellulite, and fashion magazines and movies and TV shows have constantly pathologized this for decades, selling different creams and scrubs to firm and tone the skin. And the truth is, those creams and scrubs don't work. Okay, let's clear this up once and for all. Cellulite is not this mysterious condition that we can't get rid of. It is not something that every single woman deals with. It is not 98% of the population, and it is something that you can change with lifestyle changes and habits. It is not something that you're doomed to have due to genetics. What cellulite actually is an issue in terms of the connective tissue, and it's a buildup of fluid retention and poor lymphatic flow. And lack of muscle tone and circulation can also contribute to the appearance of cellulite. So it's really important that you are strengthening your body, especially your glutes and your thighs and hips, because those are the areas that we have cellulite. That's also the area as women that estrogen tends to hold the most fat, that converts to fat, more or less. We won't get too scientific about it, so don't come for me on that, but is really something that you see be less common the leaner you are. The less common, even more so, when you have proper circulation and proper lymphatic flow. So if you're supporting your lymphatic system and you're properly hydrating yourself and you're working out and you are taking really good care of your health and wellness overall, the reduction of cellulite will just come naturally. You don't need a cream, you don't need a scrub. Those creams and scrubs are not going to help get rid of cellulite. So let's expose that. Let's be very clear. That ain't the thing. It might help in terms of the appearance of firming the actual skin itself, but it doesn't get rid of cellulite. These are the things that beneath it help support whatever those products are selling. So cellulite is an internal issue. It is not an external issue, and it's something that you can easily help support beneath the surface. And some of the ways that you can help support your lymphatic system is by putting your legs up on the wall. I do it in bed. I put my legs up on the wall for like 5-10 minutes at night. It helps me kind of shut down. It's a great time to meditate. It helps boost that circulation. That's the easiest, cheapest, literally free way for you to help support your lymphatic system. The other things that I like is a vibration plate. If you have lipedema, you're likely experiencing a more extreme version of cellulite, and a vibration plate can really help that. I will be linking the one that I like. It's pink in my Amazon storefront in my description box. The other thing that you can do is adding electrolytes to your water. That's an incredibly important thing that I think everybody can benefit from. Coconut water is the thing that I swear by, but you can also add little electrolyte tablets to your water. And that way you are helping support your connective tissue, and then those creams and scrubs can help with the surface of it. Oh, and I also will say a lymphatic drainage massage is very, very good in terms of helping to support your health and wellness and reducing the appearance of cellulite. It also makes you look a little bit more snatched, and I highly recommend it. If you've never tried it before, definitely go book one. Go book it right after you finish this video. Bear with me, I'm filming this video as the sun sets, so I just changed the lighting slightly. The next thing that I want to talk about is the fear of sun exposure and just fear of skin tone changes in general, because I think this is very different from person to person. It also changes from culture to culture. Obviously, we are all many different skin tones, And the fear of sun exposure definitely becomes more prominent in certain parts of the world, especially in Asian countries. They tend to like to be very fair, and they will do everything they possibly can to cover up and to keep them from the sun. Now, here's the thing. We don't want to cover ourselves up entirely from the sun because we do need vitamin D. And for us Canadians, hello, here I am, we do not get enough. We do not get enough vitamin D. In fact, if you haven't taken your vitamin D plus K2 today, go and take it. If you don't have it, go order it. Also in my Amazon storefront. Little plug for that as well. Your vitamin D is essential for your serotonin levels. It's essential for your happiness and for your mood. So if you're completely covering up and you're literally hiding from the sun, you're literally hibernating indoors every single day from the sun because you're afraid of sun exposure, because you're afraid you may get skin cancer or get a suntan, you are actually causing more damage to your overall health and wellness. You need to have a relationship with the sun to have a proper, healthy circadian rhythm. And if you've never heard of a circadian rhythm, what it is the old age way of living as a human being and as a animal here on earth, where you rise with the sun and you set with the sun. So you wake up with the sun and you end your day with the sun. And if you move out of your circadian rhythm, that's when we become more susceptible to burnout. Forget about being burnt by the sun, but literal burnout, physical exhaustion, not being able to show up as your best self. On the other end of this spectrum of fear of the sun, there are people who are fearful of sunscreen and say that the chemicals and toxins in sunscreen is what is actually responsible for skin cancer. I'm going to be nuanced here and we're going to be balanced. I personally very much believe in sunscreen. It is said that one bad sunburn can increase your chances of skin cancer, aka melanoma, by 50%. Personally, that is not something that I am willing to risk. I have family members who have experienced skin cancer, who've had little spots that have had to be removed, and it is just best to be safe than sorry. What I do suggest is looking at the ingredients list in your sunscreen. I haven't found a sunscreen that I totally recommend yet, just because I'm still kind of playing around with what I like. I have found that mineral sunscreens, even though they can sometimes create a white cast, which can be challenging with certain skin tones, that has been really positive for me personally in terms of overall protection and not having to reapply all the time. You really should be reapplying your sunscreen. You should be wearing your SPF every single day, especially if you are even indoors sitting by a window. So the fear around sun exposure is, in my opinion, something that we have to approach from a very balanced lens. It is not something that we need to fear completely and try to hide from, and it is also not something that we should underestimate. We should be mindful and we should be careful with sun. And the truth is that sun damage can really age the skin much faster. Which brings me to our next segment, which is about the fear of aging. Now, I'm 28. I'm finally at an age where I feel like I'm comfortable to speak about my age. And I say that because I think that there are lots of different connotations and beliefs around age and treatment of people based off of their age. Ageism is very real, and the fear of aging is directly related to how we are treated and how we are perceived. So this search for constant approval of looking younger is now becoming more extreme than ever. And we're seeing this especially with the advancement of AI and being able to see what we're going to look like in the future. And a lot of people are going, oh my God, I can't look like that. And then they're taking the picture to their dermatologists, to their estheticians, to their injectors, their surgeons, and they're saying, help me make sure that I don't age like that. And that's just so extreme. First of all, I'm going to say my own philosophy on this is that every year that we have here on earth is a blessing. Getting older is a blessing. It is better to have another year and to age than to never age at all. And that is the harsh truth. That is the reality that I think a lot of us don't think about, that you could not age. Your life could be cut short and you could miss that opportunity to age. You could miss that opportunity to potentially see the next generation be born. And that fear is crippling for people because they associate aging with ugliness. We have associated aging with slowing down. We've associated it with getting sick. We've associated it with a lot of negative things that I think nowadays are starting to be dispelled, and we're seeing more women really prove that you can only get better with age and with wisdom and with experience. Personally, I'm very excited for my 30s. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still going to enjoy the rest of my 20s. But I see women who are starting over in their 30s, who are starting over in their 40s, 50s, 60s even, they're starting over. Even in their 70s, I'm seeing women come to my classes and try a new class style that they've never tried before. I think that when we stop being interested in learning and when we stop being interested in having fun and having a playful childlike spirit, that's when we start to really age. And that is what makes you look bad. That's what makes you look worse because you're miserable. I believe it was Coco Chanel, I may be wrong, that said that the most beautiful thing a woman can wear is a smile. And although I don't believe in forcing a smile, especially for another person, especially for a man, we are not smiling for men that we don't want to smile at. But true happiness, even if it's just a moment, we're never happy every day, all day. But even just a few moments of happiness make you so much more beautiful. So the things that I have observed in women who I think are really beautiful and have aged really gracefully is that commitment to a healthy lifestyle, that commitment to hydration and supporting their bodies and good nutrition and good recovery and exercise and movement, whatever that movement may look like, but also that playfulness, that childlike spirit, that interest in learning, that dedication to things that are that light them up, that are passions of them. That is the key to aging beautifully and gracefully. And all of the straight up bullshit that we're taught about women and age is something that I think that we are all collectively fighting against because it's a very patriarchal thing, and I'm seeing us succeed. And I think the reason why we're succeeding is because many of us have decided to be more accepting. Which takes me to the next segment, the fear of imperfection. And the solution to the fear of imperfection is acceptance and embracing your true beauty, embracing who you are and what you look like, okay? My nose looks like this, your nose looks like that, hers looks like that, his looks like that. We all have a different face because it's beautiful and it's unique in its own individual way. Also, I can't breathe that well through this nose half the time. So let's not compare. But I would say this because I think the fear of imperfection comes from comparison. And I think it comes from forgetting that the way that we look also has a function too. And aside from some of those structural things like your nose or your eyes or even your eye shape and how your vision is impacted by your eye shape, something as small as your pores has a function so that your skin can breathe. But when we get so caught up in the fear of imperfection, we think that pores should be extremely small, if not totally invisible. And that's not always the case. And let me tell you, as a model, I have been on set where my pores are very visible, and I've been on set with other models where their pores are very visible, and that is after using, pore blurring foundation bases and whatever. So this idea of flawless skin, a perfect nose, a perfect eyes, a perfect anything, that really comes from the retouching side of it, and we're forgetting what these people actually look like on set is different. Personally, this is why I really appreciate when editors go light on retouching, because otherwise we are selling something that isn't real. And the more that we move into that, and the more that we move into AI, the more that we believe how we naturally look with our natural functions is wrong. And that just simply isn't true. That's 100% false. The real goal here isn't flawlessness, it's radiance through vitality, through a body that is working and functioning at its absolute best. And in relation to the working and functioning at its absolute best, I want to say that even when the body doesn't work and doesn't function at its absolute best, there is beauty in that too. There is so much beauty in that too. And I love the representation that we're starting to see more and more in the media. I believe that we should be seeing more, especially in the next 5+ years. But we have to remember that what we cannot change, we have to accept. And the things that we can change needs to be done in a nuanced way. Needs to be done in a way that is still healthy, that is still functional, that is still within our own culture, that we're not trying to look like we are from another culture just to bend beauty standards and beauty images and beauty image, because those trends change. And I think that the Kardashians are notable for this because they have been this influence of showing how a body trend can change. They were so popular in the 2010s for their very curvaceous hourglass bodies built by doctors, which I don't know if they've talked about it now, but they've talked a little bit about breast reductions. They've had all sorts of body work that has impacted body image for women. And what has happened is that in the 2010s, their BBL bodies, their hourglass bodies, were the thing. And now in the 2020s, we are seeing them revert back to this thinner body, this smaller chested body. Your body is not, you're not a Build-A-Bear. And that might work for their Kardashians, but for the rest of us, our bodies aren't like that. We're not Build-A-Bears. You don't get to like customize the parts. You don't get to change every single part. And if you have the money to change it, and it's something that you absolutely cannot live with, you absolutely cannot accept, just go and get it done the best that you possibly can and look like an enhancement rather than changing the way that you look. Because what will happen eventually over time is you will look back and you will look at the standard that influenced that change, and you will likely have regrets about it the way that they have. So I want to close out this video and just say that every fear that you have been taught to have about your body, every flaw that you've been insecure about, has been a part of a patriarchal conditioning in broad media. And that conditioning has been put in place to profit off of your body. So the most empowering thing that you can possibly do is to take back that fear and to instead radically accept yourself. Like, you are literally fighting the patriarchy when you say, "Nah, I am looking good today." When you believe that you're looking good today, you are fighting the patriarchy, babe. When you stop fearing yourself, you stop being sold to. So remember, beauty is not something that you chase. It is not something that is outside of you. It is inherent and it is yours to reclaim. If this video resonated with you, or if you learned some helpful tips and tricks, please make sure to like it and share with a friend, and subscribe to the channel to help support it, and stay tuned for more videos on all things self-development. And until next time, thank you for watching. Stay golden.